Hello.
Hi, welcome back to Dad and Kids Coding as we continue to work through the Advent of Code 2020. Today we're on day 7. We're a little bit behind schedule here. We'll hopefully catch up maybe tomorrow. Anyway, today is a challenge with luggage. And basically what we have to do is we have a shiny gold bag and we have to find out what bags it could be carried inside. And there's a bunch of rules for what bags can contain what. So I'll just, you can read the fine details, but here's an example of a shiny gold bag. So a shiny gold bag could be inside a bright white bag or inside a muted yellow bag. But in addition, a bright white bag can be inside a light red bag, and so can a muted yellow. And a bright white bag can also be part of a dark orange bag, as can muted yellow. And those are the only, so the 4 colors this can be in are bright white, muted yellow, dark orange, and light red. So there's 4 different outer bag colors that we could have. Okay? And the test data is many more lines like this. Okay, so all the lines look kind of like this. So let's copy this over for our test case. And the answer is 4. So let's go over here. So here's what the full data looks like. It just goes on and on and on like this. So it's pretty weird. Okay, so let's add a new test day. Test day 07A. And we want to say self assert equals. And let's just say that, well, let's do it. We're going to do it again in, oops, the wrong thing there. Press the wrong characters. Okay, so I want to say AOC day 07A.
I should say before we continue further, while this would be theoretically prime material or prime time to do so, I will not be making any political jokes relating to inefficient bureaucracies. 1, because controversial jokes are bad, as we all know, and 2, because I can't think of any.
So I'm going to actually pass the bag that we're looking for here, which is a shiny gold bag. And I'm not going to say bag because everything's a bag. Okay, so the answer of that should be 4. So let's save that. Oops, except it said asserted assert. We didn't really mean that. There we go. So we're ready to try running it, and when we run it, we get the not surprising that Advent of Code didn't include this, so we're going to add it. Okay, so a string is this long thing, and what we want to do is we want to basically build up the rules by looping through this. So we want to say a string lines do, and we'll take a line. So we're going to loop through and set up all the rules, and then we're going to use string 2 to find. Actually, I'm just going to change the name of that to target. So it's the target we're looking for, and I'm going to change a string to rules because that's what it is. So rules with target and I'll say here rules. Okay, so take the rules, split them into lines, and then iterate through this. Now, each of these lines is, well, let's just put a stop, self-halt rather, here, and just proceed to that point and see where we are. Okay, so we're here, and the line has something like this. Now, we need to loop through this. We're going to have to split this, I guess, based on spaces. And we have to find a way to parse this. And if we notice, everything has something, something, and then bag or bags. It's sometimes just bag, for example, here. But it's something that starts with bag, and the two words before that are what matter. And so we could actually just scan through here looking for each time we come across bag or bags. And the two preceding things are going to be the color of the bag that we're talking about. Now the first one is going to be, the first time we come across this is going to be the enclosing bag color. And then every other one we come across, because sometimes there might be several of them, each of these will be a bag that can be included inside this. Okay, so that's kind of messy. But let's start off with, let's just declare some local variables here. So I'm going to say enclosing bag. I'm going to say enclosing bag. I'm not going to call these things bags because bag is already a built-in in Smalltalk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Enclosing bag, and I also need to know the previous word we're looking for and the previous word. There's probably a better word for that, but let's go with that for now. So what we want to know is now we want to loop through this. We want to loop through the line. So line, split, and how do we split? Oh, we split, I think, this way. We want to split on space, split, line, and let's just inspect that, see what we get. Okay, so that split it into all these words, and now we can see we have something, something bags, something, 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 something bag, something, 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 something bag. Okay, so all the pieces are there. So let's just iterate through that expression. And this is a word. Okay, so what word are we looking for here? So we want to say that the if the word begins with bag, then this is a word of interest. Then this is something we're going to actually do something with. Okay, so if that's true, then we need to keep track of what comes next. Or we'll do something. If it's false, let's just include this for now. If false, in other words, it didn't begin with bag, then we want to do something else. So let's leave that for the moment and figure out. So let's look at the other cases first. So we have something like, so the first time we come through this loop, the word is light, and so it doesn't begin with bag. So we're going to come down here. And what we want to do is we want to basically save this. So we're going to say that previous is previous, and previous is word. Okay, so let's just go back up here and initialize these to something meaningful. So previous is previous, and equals enclosing bag nil. Okay, so we're initializing all of them to nil to begin with. So what this does is initialize this to nil, and then whatever the result of that is, which is nil, is assigned here, and it's assigned here. Okay, so so if the word doesn't begin with bag, then we're going to take the previous word and store it in previous, take the current word and store it in previous. Now when we come here and it is equal to bag, then it means that previous is going to be something like red, and previous is going to be something like light. Okay? So, now if this is the first, time we run across bag in the sentence or the rule, then it's the enclosing bag. So that means that enclosing bag is nil. So enclosing bag, if nil, this means we haven't done anything with it yet. So let's just, if nil, if not nil, let's do both. So if it's nil, then we want to set enclosing bag, and I'm going to, I'm just going to call this bag called, and I want previous, then I want a space, then I want previous. Okay, so previous right now is going to be something like light, and previous is going to be red. So previous, da da da.
Starting to sound like a Roman name. Previous.
Indeed.
It's probably Latin rise, so it makes sense.
So we're going to get this bag called. We haven't defined that method yet, but I want to. I'm going to define that. So if that's nil, then we'll just remember what the enclosing bag, or remember that create an enclosing bag with that name. Otherwise, we want to, so if we're not at the enclosing, not at the first one, then what we want to do is we want to get the bag called whatever previous is. Actually, rather than doing that here, why don't we and well, previous and previous. Okay, and so down here we're going to say that we want to do something similar. Self bag called previous and previous, and so we'll get that bag, and then we'll tell that that it's enclosed by the enclosing bag. Okay, so So if this is the first time in the line, then enclosing bag will be nil. So we'll set enclosing bag to the to a new bag or possibly an existing bag called this. Otherwise, we'll look up the bag. So in this case, it would be something like bright white, and we'll tell that bag that it's enclosed by the enclosing bag, or I guess it can be enclosed by. So let's say it that way: can be enclosed by, and then the enclosing bag. Okay, so this process basically is going through and setting up all of our rules. At least that's the theory. So let's save this. Sure, you do that. And proceed. We're going to get missing functions or methods when we call to here, but even once we've cleared those out, we'll stop here, and then we'll see what things look like. Okay, so proceed and let it run until instance of full block closure did not understand self. That doesn't look good. Ah, I see. So I forgot a period here, so it was trying to send this message to this block, so that's weird. But that's fine. So proceed again. Okay, so we did not understand bag called and. Okay, well let's create that. And we'll put it in Advent of Code 2020. So what we need to have is we need to have a set, or we need to have a dictionary that has names in it. So so let's just say luggage rule. Finding a good name for things is often the biggest challenge when programming. Well, let's just call it luggage. I'm going to say luggage at, and I want, so this is going to be an adjective because it's something like light. And this is going to be a color. Okay, so we want to say luggage at adjective, color, if absent, put. And what's going to happen is, so we're going to return this. So we're going to look up in luggage using this as the key. And if we don't find something, then we'll create a new piece of a new luggage object. So we'll return luggage new. Okay. So this is going to be a new class that I haven't defined yet, and so if this thing already exists, then it's going to return that value. If it doesn't exist, then we'll create a new luggage object for it. Okay, so let's save that. And luggage is going to be an instance variable. We'll put it in the class, and capital L luggage is going to be a new class. And where is it going to be? Well, it's going to be an Advent of Code. It's going to be a subclass of object. Yep, that sounds fine. So we'll say OK. Okay, now the only problem is that luggage right now is not set to anything meaningful, and it should be set to a dictionary. So I'm going to quit out of this and go over here. And what have I got here? So these are helper functions. So I'm going to put them over there. Come on. Okay, and I'm going to need an initializer in this class because I need to set up. So now I have this instance variable called luggage, and I've got to set that up. So I'm going to create a new method called initialize.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a table there.
Oops. IALIze. Okay. So we'll initialize, and every time we call initialize for any time we're defining it, the first thing we should do is call super initialize, because we're right now our superclass is object and it doesn't do anything with the initialize, but at some later time we might move it somewhere, so it's always good practice to call super initialize first. And then we're just going to set our luggage instance variable to a dictionary. And that's the only thing we have to do in our initialize. I'm not completely happy with the name, but we'll go with it for now. Okay, so let's go back over our test and rerun it and see where we get to. Okay, so everything worked fine, except we're now trying to tell this bag that we just got that it can be enclosed by the enclosing bag. So enclosing bag is a luggage, and just a weird way of saying it, but anyway. And this is a luggage object as well, and we want to say can be enclosed by. So let's create a method in luggage. And where can this be? So what I want to say is enclosing add luggage. Okay, but enclosing isn't anything right now, so let's create enclosing as a new instance variable. And again, we're going to have to break out of here because we need to initialize that with something. So we'll break out of that, come back over here, and now go to luggage, and what do I want to do? Well, first of all, let's just say that this is adding. Okay, so it's an adding method, and I need to also add a need to add another. I need to add an initialize method again. So initialize and super initialize. And then I need to say whatever my instance variable was, which I've forgotten already. Just goes to show how quickly. It's called enclosing. Okay. So enclosing is going to be a set. There might be other things I could make it, but a set is fine for now. Okay. So what we're going to have is when we're done our loop, so let's go back to the test, run this, and we come to the self-halt. So at this point, we have enclosing bag as a luggage, but that's irrelevant. But more importantly, we have this luggage, which is a dictionary that has three things in it right now. It has bright white, which is a luggage, or light red, and muted yellow. And if we looked at this, so if we look at, which one was the enclosing light red? No, so bright white, if we look at its fields, it has enclosing a luggage. So it has something that encloses it. I just noticed that but this luggage doesn't doesn't have a name associated with it. So I probably should set that up. So let's go back to my can be enclosed. No, not that. In here, bag called. Okay, so we create this new piece of luggage and we should tell it what it's, let's say, named and adjective color. Oh, actually, no, we don't need to do that because we don't care what its name is. We just care how many of them there are. That's fine. Okay. So we're fine. So go going back over here. And we halt here. We've processed one rule. So let's move this self halt down after here. And save that. Yes, sure. Okay, so we're going to proceed. No, actually, let's just do it again from the beginning. And now we've halted, and our luggage is a dictionary with 10 items in it now. And so it has a luggage item for each of the colors we've run across. And some of them, like light red, has an empty set, but others, like shiny gold, has two things that can enclose it, which is correct. Under the rules, there are two things that contain shiny gold directly. Okay, so we've got our rule set completed. Now we just need to go through and find out what things can enclose our target. Okay, so but so right now target is a single string. So let's just close these inspectors out. So target is a string shiny gold, and we don't have a method that looks up the name like that. So I'm going to change these to let's do this a bit differently. So there and here. Okay, so we don't actually have that method right now, but let's not worry about that for the moment. So now we want to return a set, and then we want to go through all the kinds of bags that okay, so let's just return self bag called target, and ask it for its enclosing bags. So we're going to get a set of enclosing bags, and we want to return the size of that set, because we're going to get a set of all the possible bags that it can be, and then we'll just see the size of that set, and that should be hopefully 4. Okay, so let's save this, and I'm going to go back over here because I have this method bag called, and I want to change this. So let's just call this name. And here, a name. And then we'll get rid of the bag called and method because we don't need that anymore. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. So now, let's go over to our tests and run test day 7 again. So everything worked down until we asked for our enclosing bags. Now, define enclosing bags in luggage. Now, what do we have here? So we have this instance variable called enclosing, and this has a couple of pieces of luggage in this case, but we want to know what, not just those values, but also all the values that those can be as well. So we want to have so we want to return the set that's made up of the, so we want enclosing, and then we want to add to that all the sets that those luggage enclose. So let's see, how do we do this? Okay, actually I'm going to do this kind of strange thing. Inject into, inject enclosing into. So what inject into does is it goes through all the elements of this, and the first one gets called with this, whatever value this is, and the first element of this. And then whatever that block returns, so this is a block that has all values and the current one. And so what we're going to do is whatever this returns becomes all for the next call of this, so that it's going to iterate through this, adding successfully to this set. But I don't know if there's a method, so let's just go and look at set to see if there's a method that will do a union. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Set. Here. So what I want is the union of two sets. So there's difference, so I presume we have union as well. No, I don't.
Dead air.
Okay, I got it. I had to think about this for a moment. So let's go back here. So I'm going to make this a copy of enclosing. So I'm going to make a copy of enclosing and iterate through. And then here, what I'm going to do is say all, add all of each. No, of each enclosing bags. Okay. So basically I'm going to call the enclosing bag method on each of the pieces of luggage that can enclose this. So I'm going to get back all the things that they can enclose. We'll add all those to the set that we're building up, and then we'll return that in the end. Actually, I'm going to rewrite this slightly so that it's more readable to, well, to you and also to the viewers at home. So I'm going to create a set. I'm going to say set is initially the enclosing copy, and then I'm going to just loop through all of these. So loop through with do, I won't bother using inject into, and I'll add all of these to the set as I go. Okay, so that's a little bit simpler. Sorry, I'll do that. And then I will return set. Okay, so let's proceed and see what we get. And it passed. Okay, so we got 4. So now let's do the other version of this. So self assert assert equals. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, assert equals, and then we want AOC day 07A with self data for day 7 and with shiny gold. And again, we don't know what we're looking for, so let's just say nil. And save that, and run our test again. See how we did.
Taking its time.
It is taking its time.
What's it called? Well, thing the bags are the luggage is delivered by. Big carousel thing.
Carousel, luggage carousel.
I guess so.
Okay, so the test took too much time. Okay.
It got stuck on the carousel.
Right. So, what we're doing here is we're creating a lot of sets. And probably what we should be doing instead is not doing quite that, but let's just go back over here.
Perhaps we inadvertently created a set of all sets and the computer got a bit confused over it.
No, but we probably should probably pass into enclosing bags a set.
Okay.
So let's just...
Sci-fi has told me that if a computer runs into a logical problem, then it catches fire.
Yes. I'm just going to ban this rule because I don't need complaining. Okay, so I'm going to add an extra parameter here to enclosing bags that I'm just going to say with a set new. So I'm going to pass in a set now. Actually, there's a better way to do this. So let's just go over to, no, let me save this. Let's go over to luggage and enclosing bags, and we're going to say that we want to add a parameter, an argument to this. So the new selector is going to be enclosing bags, and the default value for the argument, sure, nil is fine. And let's, yes, update them all. Okay, so enclosing bags. What's unclassified clothing bags? Okay, this is enumerating. Okay, so enclosed bags, we want to find all the senders of this. Oh, actually, let's just fix it first. So this is not an object, this is going to be a set. And rather than, oh, let's just call it set. No, let's do a set. And so I don't need to initialize this. I'll just add to a set. So, we want to add to the set. Okay. We'll add to the set each, because we just we want to add this, all the bags that this has, and we also want to ask the each to do the enclosing bags on a set. Ah, yes. So the tricky part is that this each may already be in the set. If each is in the set already, then we don't want to call it and ask it to do its enclosing bags, because we'll get into an infinite loop that way. So we need to know if a set contains this. So if a set contains each if that's false, if it doesn't contain it, then we want to add it to each and ask it to add its enclosing bags to the set. Okay, so I think that's right now. So we'll loop through all the things that we know that enclose us, and for each of them we'll say if it's not already in the set, then add it to the set and go and ask it for all of its enclosing bags. Okay, so I think I've got it right this time. So let's go back over to our test, and contains was set to null. Okay, that's because I told it to just fill in nil for all of these. Here we go. So I didn't really want nil here, I wanted a new set. Okay, so pass in that, it'll return the set, and then we'll do the size of it. Okay, so let's proceed. Instance of log each to understand value. Oh, because I use contains, that's not the right thing to do. Right. Okay, so my problem is that I am not using the proper method here. So I didn't want contains, I want something else. So let's browse set and find the thing that, look under testing. Includes. Okay, I wanted includes, not contains. Okay, so let's go here. So I don't want contains, I want includes. That's actually a very common mistake for me.
Sneezing?
No, I sneeze other times, but no. I often say contains when really what I on set, when really what I mean is includes. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's just quit out of this and start again. It's not looking good.
Hang in there, buddy. Oh, did you actually click it? Because I see. Try clicking it again. Let's see. Huh? Yeah, so it's not. Okay, so you just didn't click it, I see.
I just didn't click it. Okay, so it ran through this time and completed in reasonable time. And it says that their answer is 379. Okay, which seems like a plausible sort of answer. So let's proceed.
Huh?
Oh, I didn't mean 379, I meant 320. Did I not do that right?
You copied off 379, and now it's decided it's 326 instead. Interesting.
Oh, that's because yes, okay. Because I'm reusing this rather than, So I need to,
reduce, reuse, recycle.
so in days 07A, I need to, so the problem is that I did not reset the luggage instance variable, and so when I run it with a second set of rules, it just adds to the rules. So I want to here say that luggage is a, what was it? Initialize, it was a dictionary new. Okay, so let's go back over here. Dictionary new. Okay, now let's go back to our test code. And it was actually 370. Well, I don't know what it is. Let's just run it and see what number it gives us. Okay, 326 it says. And okay, well let's see if that's the right answer. 326. And it was.
Woo, alright. 2
Okay,
hours later.
Let's hope that part 2 is easier. Okay, need to buy bags. Consider you following the rules for the above example.
Yes, let's hope this one is easier.
And be sure to count all the bags, even if the nesting becomes topographically impractical. Okay. So single shiny gold. Let's go look at the rules again. Shiny gold bag contains 1 dark olive bag and 2 vibrant plum bags. And a dark olive bag contains 3 faded blue bags and 4 dotted black bags. And faded blue bags don't contain any more, that's good. And dotted black bags don't contain any other bags, so that's good. But now we need vibrant plum bags, and they contain faded blue bags and dotted black bags too. Okay, so this is the reverse problem. So before we were checking to see who could enclose our shiny gold bag, but now we need to figure out which other bags are contained in it. And I think this is getting to be a bit long already. So I think we're going to stop here, and we'll post another video where we do part B, because it's it's going to be a little tricky, and it's not going to take 5 minutes to do this. It's going to take probably 15 or 20 minutes to do this, and I think this video is already quite long enough. So thank you for watching, and we'll post a follow-up video on this sometime tomorrow.
Yes, stay tuned for the cliffhanger. It's not like we're already behind enough.
Okay, thank you, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow.
Bye. Oh, in sync.